you for the Zoom. I have been praying for you. However, I really have been.
Thank you. We have, well, yeah, we it's the first time I think in our personal experience sensed, I mean, at key points when prayer requests got out and got around the chain and people prayed and you know, a lot of that you don't know till after the fact,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy. But
you got COVID twice, right?
yeah, we did. We both got it early on March of 20.
Yeah.
And then we got the Delta deal this time around. And
okay, you got the Delta, not the Omicron.
Right.
Which is why it was so bad.
Yep. Yeah. So, and then I just, we came out of it and I was coming out of it really well. And then over Thanksgiving, I caught what they think is, it was a super infection of some sort, either viral or bacterial, that just crushed my lungs and turned into COVID pneumonia and then blood clots. And so I ended up with multiple blood clots in my lungs. And then my left lung in particular was gone. I mean, it was just locked up. There was one time in particular where they were in the discussion of putting me on a ventilator and talking to Charlene a little bit about that. And one of the doctors was like, yeah, there's no choice. We got to do it. And another doctor walked up and just said, no, let's try this other procedure. It's a high flow oxygen machine. So it's like kind of like a ventilator, only they strap it on your face rather than intubating you.
Yeah.
I truly believe that probably saved my life because, yeah, everything you hear about the ventilator is not good. And so, so that was one of those times too, where Charlene had called and said, hey, we need to get the prayers cranked up because we're at a hard decision point. And so, so I'm convinced that doctor walking into the room was an answer to those prayers. Yeah.
How was it for you emotionally, mentally, spiritually?
I think looking back, actually for me, there was great peace. One of the doctors, I wish I could talk to him now, but anyway, he was the one that diagnosed me with the blood clots and the pneumonia. And after he diagnosed me, he said, so we're checking you into ICU and blah, blah, blah. And he patted me on the leg and he just said, so good luck. And I'm like, those are not what you want to hear from a doctor, you know. And definitely the thought crossed my mind that, wow, I might not come out of this. It was one of those, you know, test your faith. Does this Christian thing really work?
Yeah.
And it did. I mean, I just, there was,
you felt peace.
Like if this is it, I've never,
nothing
I've ever dealt with. And so it's,
I remember you told me once that when you first started doing extended silence and solitude retreats, how the first couple of days you were like going crazy and then something kicked in. And I think I assume that so much of my identity and comfort is in getting things done.
Mm-hmm.
And you weren't able to get much done the last 4 months.
It was Charlene and I were laughing. Like in October, I was super active. I mean, we were tearing into this house and putting up firewood, and I've always been physically really active. And of course, we were leading 2 discipleship groups and doing premarital work and really involved in the church. And I loved it. I mean, it was we were just cooking. And then it was so strange to have that just literally come to a stop on October 14th. You know, I was getting a little sick, and then you test positive, and then from then on, it was just 4 months. And so it's been weird to process that. So last week a little bit, and this week I'm just trying to re-engage at the church a little bit.
Well, let's talk about Ezekiel. So
good job. Yeah.
The second half of Ezekiel is really fun, just like the second half of Isaiah is. And the hope explodes and overflows.
You're glad to get there. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like the rest of the book is bad. It's just that it's just like, wow, you know. So chapters 34 through 36 have to do with the new heart God is promising. 37 seems to transfer from the heart to fleshing out the valley of dry bones, where we're actually becoming something like an army, which is interesting because chapters 38 and 39 seem to go off on a weird tangent, but it's information about the enemy. It's Gog and Magog. It's
Right,
sort of a repeat of the world system, kind of like he hit earlier with Tyre and themes that the book of Revelation pulls out that describe the world system, kind of who we need a new heart and a new body for, so to speak, to go into battle with. And then it goes into this crazy, very detailed description of the new temple. And the new temple is huge. It's bigger than Solomon's temple. And there's a debate on whether this is, we're going to tear down the Dome of the Rock and bring in the millennium with this Ezekiel's temple, or whether it's a metaphor. The new temple just becomes bizarre and beautiful with water streaming out of it.
right.
And makes me think of Jesus in John 7, talking about, on the tabernacles and water from the rock, and that water's coming out of the temple. And it's just hitting a beautiful prophetic metaphor of water transforming the desert on steroids, because even the Dead Sea is being transformed. And I think that's kind of how it ends. And it just seems to be this progression of transformation, maybe both personally and then also maybe what God's doing in the world.